Hello, this is the Let's Talk Podcast, Let's Talk Valdosta Podcast, and I'm Shara, your host for the afternoon. And today we have Samantha Matthews, and I'll let her introduce herself.
I'm Samantha Matthews. I am the Executive Director of the Nat Howell Turner Center for the Arts. Work very closely with the Valdosta Lowndes Arts Commission, which is doing an incredible job working with the city, providing arts and cultural needs.
Well, I love that you mentioned the city because I want to kind of start off there. So a long time ago, when I first met you, you were the public information officer for the city of Valdosta, and you implemented a lot of great things that we still carry on today, one of them being the photo contest. So can you talk to us about how that started?
I can. It's such a pleasure. At first, I want to say congratulations on a great job that you're doing and your staff is doing in public information. It's so very important, and it was such a great job to be in at that time. And thank you for carrying on some of these things. The photo contest was created actually in preparation for the sesquicentennial celebration, which was in 2010. So in 2009, I started thinking about, wow, when I wanted to get things ready for an event, there were no photos available.
Right.
And I didn't have, at that time, I was just one person staff, and I had Marcus McConico, who was the one who did Metro 17. And so what happened is we just didn't have the time to get out there and get all these photographs of the community. And so we put the photo contest for that. Give people a chance to get what they see out there, the things that we miss. And so it was wonderful. That first year we had 39 photographs, and we thought that is the best. And so the presentation of it was in the multi-purpose room at City Hall Annex. And so that year we're like, this is really good. People are really getting into this.
Right.
But the multi-purpose room is not a place to actually display it.
Right.
So we were looking for a place, and what better than the Turner Center for the Arts?
Makes sense.
So I called over to Cheryl Oliver at the time. She was the director, and we said, let's do this together. And that's when we determined that we would have it. It would be annually, and it would be hosted at the Turner Center for the Arts, but owned by the city of Valdosta. And so we've made several improvements over the years. And then within 3 years, we're already over 100. I think that next year we had 78 entries, and by year 3, we're at like 105, and it just grew. I think our largest amount was like 138 entries. But it's nice to see that it's still, for the most part, it is the same, and people are still enjoying it, and it gives people a chance to participate in city government and just community in general.
Well, one thing that sticks out about the photo contest too is that it's not just for a certain age limit. So youth can participate. Did you want to talk about how the youth were involved?
Right. It was about 5 years in when we added the youth component, and it just took off. First year it was only about 5 people, and then year 2, the next year it was got 15 or 18 participants. It's great to give them a chance to, you're introducing them to their community and how important the community is and how beautiful it is. I mean, kids, they were busy doing their things with school and sports, and sometimes they don't recognize the beauty of the buildings or just the beauty of life in general.
Right.
We get so busy even as adults. So I'm proud that that's continuing as well.
Well, since you were there in the beginning, how would you say you kind of touched on it a little bit, but how do you feel like it's evolved since then? Because now we have new categories, we have new infrastructure, we have new sites and scenes that people can take pictures of. How have you seen it grow, or was that the vision in the beginning?
That was the vision, and so you're doing just exactly what was planned back then, is to make it different every year, same but different. So giving people different things to look at. The categories were always something that we got excited about. We'd get in our little area in an office and just start toiling over, like, what are some things that we need photographs of, but what are some things that people would enjoy photographing, and what are things that would build conversations around them, stories, like, you see buildings that maybe are not yet, haven't been fixed, maybe from a hurricane, for example, and then you take a picture of it, and there's a story there, and, or the sign above, downtown, the markers that say, 1911, and that's a story, because like, wow, who lived in that building in 1911? So those were the kinds of stories we were looking for. So therefore, we tried to create categories that would do that. And you guys are still doing that today, which is wonderful.
Well, thank you. I'm very lucky to have a wonderful team. One thing that we love, too, is the partnership with Coleman Talley. They've been sponsoring it for a while now.
Most of the years.
How did that partnership begin?
Well, we were looking for a partner, and Coleman Talley is a great community partner all the way around, and they were located downtown, and then they renovated that building downtown, which was a huge display of their love for downtown and for the city. And we asked them and they said yes, and that was history. I mean, they've been partnering ever since then, and I think they see the impact of it, and so much so that a lot of the photographs hang in their offices. So you go to the Comentale office, it's beautiful on the outside, but super beautiful on the inside with all these photographs of our community.
They've done a wonderful job with that building.
Yes.
So what are the I can't say that word today for some reason. But
eligibilities to how to participate. Listen, all you need is a phone, like these things are so incredible.
Right.
Just to go and take photographs that you could probably flip through your phone and just see what you've captured in the last month and have a bunch of options to submit. But they really, it really doesn't require a lot of effort, which is why it's so amazing that they're not 500 entries a year, because these are things that you drive by every day or you're capturing because it's in the moment. One year there was a picture of a tree. This girl got a picture of a tree with 3 raccoons creeping around the sides.
I think I still have that picture.
It's iconic. We actually used it on the application for the next year, just because that was here in Valdosta.
Right.
At that time, it was still the Valdosta city limits, and you didn't think, oh, do we even have raccoons in the city limits?
Right.
But it was just so much fun to see what people could capture, I think one year it wasn't a bear. I think it was a fox. But, it was just neat to see that people could capture things.
Things you wouldn't think about.
Things that you're not there at the moment.
Right.
And they're only in that one moment of time, those 3 raccoons peeping around that tree.
Right.
Or, that bird that just swooped down and got that fish. Marvin Smith is one of the most incredible photographers I know. And he enters every year. And, just getting his... I don't even know how he does it.
He definitely has an eye for it.
He has an eye for it, and he has a super good camera as well. Not something that we could probably get with our phone camera with those types of photos, but certainly all the things that capture how great our community is and our people.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Are there any prizes or recognitions awarded to the winners? That's always our favorite part to talk about.
Right.
Because that's how people kind of get engaged to kind of be a little bit more creative, it seems like.
Well, it motivates them actually to participate. I mean, who doesn't want an extra $200? I would participate if I could, but we're ineligible.
Right.
I would say, so we narrowed it down to $200 for first, second, and third, and then a $100 for youth category. It's been different over the years. Over the years, it's been about the same amount of money, but it was maybe $100 each category to get 5 categories in there so that people had more to focus on, more things to try to photograph. But I like how it is now. First, second, and third, I love the fact that it's a people's choice.
Right.
That you could come in there. Listen, if you're coming in and you have a purple pen, please be a little bit more creative than that. It is only one vote per entry. I mean, person. So,
Well, this year we're doing it a little different. They can do it online with a QR code now. So
I love that.
That kind of helps out a lot, too.
That's a great testimony to you and your staff. That's a great fix for that because, we'd pull out all the 15 purple ones and just keep one because they were all the same handwriting or, you can kind of tell
that's the one
those
person.
Ones. Yeah, it was hard to do, but it was kind of neat that people were so excited about it. They wanted, their maybe their child to win or their dad to win or something. But it's pretty much honest for the most part. It is people's choice, which makes it fun.
So with that being said, how can people vote once we start the kickoff for the photographs? I'm sorry. How can they vote for their favorite picture?
How can they vote? Well, you're gonna introduce those guidelines for the QR code.
Right.
So, listen, girl,
they can't do it online.
That's right. That's going to be really neat to see how people do that. So the QR code is going to be in the galleries.
Right.
Right. And so they can click on that and then vote there. I think that's going to be exceptional. It's a great added component this year.
And we don't have to hand count them anymore.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, that was...
My poor team, I felt so bad. They were like, we have to count these again. I'm like, oh, God. So we worked it out.
That's a nice problem to have.
Right.
That means there's more people participating. But yeah, it does get cumbersome. I love the fact that we're doing it this way and it's going to be easier for you guys.
It'll be automatically count the numbers.
That's right. And then displaying them is such a joy for the Turner Center. I mean, this is, it is just a privilege to put them up and to have we get a lot of traffic into the Turner
Right.
Center for the Arts during the People's Choice
You
Photo
do.
Contest. It's so neat to see people come in for that. And anytime that you can establish an event that includes a lot of people, you're always going to get them and their friends, their family members, and it's usually very successful. So we're so glad that this has stood the test of time.
Right. There's been a lot of changes over the last
17 years is a great event if you can make it that far.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I know we're talking about the photo contest, but before we wrap up, did you want to introduce or talk about anything else with the Turner Center? Because I know you guys have some great things coming up this next year or so.
There are so many things. I would just refer people to the Turner Center's website at turnercenter.org. We've got so many different programs going on and so many different advancements into, along the years, we've improved so many different things.
Right.
But the newest thing coming in December 2025 is our Amita Shaw Coleman Children's Imagination
Yes.
Station. So at this point in time, we are 80% into our campaign fundraising, and it is going to be amazing. 10,000 square feet of STEAM activities, exhibits for youth and their families to enjoy. We have two flight simulators. We have a music studio where kids can write their own music and then perform it and record it. There's a film studio where you can actually record your own and get into some what is it called? There's costumes that they can put on.
Right.
So if they want to do the weather for today in a fireman outfit, they can do that. They can be as creative as they want to be. And 2 animation stations where you could take your phone or your sunglasses or your pencil and make it into a cartoon.
Oh, wow.
And it's just so many things. And kids do not need a whole lot of explanation or instructions. When they get in there, they know what to do. They teach us.
Right.
We had this other exhibit where you code your car. So it's very good about coding is introduced in China like it in first grade.
Right.
And we don't introduce coding to usually like middle school, maybe even high school in some places. But you could take the car and there's all these cards of different color and you put them down and that car will either go left, right, turn in circles, go backwards, or go faster. And so based on the color, you can just make all kinds of path around this 7-foot table. But to me, that's probably most fun.
That sounds like I want to go.
Oh, listen, there'll be
so
some
fun.
adult nights for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Samantha, for joining us today, and thank you for the partnership with the city still.
Yes.
A lot of people, once they leave somewhere, they don't really connect, but you still stay in contact with
Love.
us, so we
I
appreciate
love
that.
love the city. Love government. Government's been around since the beginning of time in
Right.
Genesis, and it will be there until the end of time on this earth. So we have to embrace our government, support our government, and get involved with it. And that's what we continue to do.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank
And
you.
that's it for the podcast.